Hi everyone, welcome back. Josh Peter, Alex Goldman from the Stands, and today we're joined by the Bkfc heavyweight champion, the pride of England, the great Mick Terrill. Mick, thank you so much for the time this morning, mate. We really appreciate it. First of all, I know it's probably been a busy time for you at the moment, sorting out a lot of things between you and Mark. But I guess how have you been personally?
I've been great, thanks. Hi, how's you been?
Good, mate. Good.
No complaints.
We're honored to sit down and chat with you today, mate. Obviously, first thing I sort of want to touch on is we, Alex and I grew up watching a guy like Mark Hunt, as I'm sure you've watched him over the years as well, compete. And I guess now that he's thrown his name into the hat with you, I think in my opinion, I think it's a no-brainer. I think that is the biggest fight you can make in BKFC heavyweight, the division right now. What does it mean for you on a personal level to possibly have that chance to compete against a guy like Mark, who has so much respect and really was a pioneer of the mixed martial arts world?
Well, I was the same as you. I've grew up watching Mark as well, So being a kickboxer myself, I've always known about Mark. And when his name popped up saying he wanted to fight, I just thought, that's the fight I want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you grew up watching someone, you want that fight.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Josh here from the Stands. And look, I know you're in the middle of a good little interview that we're currently doing, but I want to take a second of your time just to give a quick little shout out to today's sponsor, TrainAid. Obviously, they're big supporters of us, like we are of them. And today they're sponsoring this video. And look, I want to let you guys know about a little product they do. Their premium product, TrainAid Hydration. It's the best hydration formula on the market, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And look, if you don't believe me, ask guys like Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski, Leon Edwards. You ever heard of these guys? I mean, they're the top athletes in the world. And they're all taking TrainAid Hydration. It really is the #1 formula in the world for hydration. And in the summer months here in Australia, I mean, it's something that I think everyone should be taking. And TrainAid have been very nice to give us a discount code, a very healthy discount code as well. I mean, it's a nice little discount code. If you use the code FTS15 at the checkout, they will give you 15% off. We'll leave a link to their website in this description of this video. And check them out, guys. Please support them because they are supporting us. Cheers.
Yeah, for sure. When we look at the state of bare knuckle today, when it first started, a few people seemed a bit unsure if it was really going to take off. And, I think the sport has really started to grow and, really stand out from other combat sports as well. My question for you is, do you think BKFC and, the sport of bare knuckle in general, does it have that capability to reach that sort of mainstream popularity, become, along up with names like, Showtime Boxing and the UFC?
I definitely think it does. I mean, I've been doing bare knuckle boxing in the UK for close to 8 or 9 years now. I've actually won 3 world titles over 3 different organisations. I started with the Knuckle one, which was I think you would call it Gypsies, the Irish family come over. I won that one. I won the British BKB. And although I was fighting like American people in that organisation, the BKFC just catapulted it to the next level, I think. And if you watch the growth on the BKFC, I think it's on par with UFC, the way it's going. And it's starting to get a lot of interest from, I know Conor McGregor's coming in, Diego Sanchez come in. I think even Dana White's even come in. You've got Mike Perry, Ben Rothwell. These are all like big UFC names starting to come in. And it's funny because I put a post on, I think it was on my Facebook the other day, and people were saying it's for people getting older, and it will be because I think the amount of time you can fight in bare knuckle is short. You're going to get damaged. You're going to get cut. You're going to get broken. So you couldn't do it when you're 20 because then you would only have a 5-year career. You've got to do it at the end. Or be young and stupid and do it at the beginning, that's it, you're over.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're right there because I think BKFC, I think, too, has a very specific type of fighter that comes in and succeeds. A guy like yourself, you've been doing it for, like you said, 8 or 9 years. And then you have guys like Mike Perry who also find success in the sport. But then you have a guy like Luke Rockhold, who was a former UFC champion, comes in and unfortunately falls to Mike Perry, which is not an outcome that I think a lot of people expected. But in terms of a fight between you and Mark, Mick, I guess what sort of are you able to say about the status of a contract between you two? Because I guess I've been following this very closely since the sort of topic came out and Mark first posted, I want the BKFC heavyweight title. and I've been checking with Gabriel all the time. What's happening. I want this fight as a fan, as a member of the media. I want to see this fight. I think it's an amazing fight, but not just for you, but for Mark as well. I think that it would be such an incredible fight. How close is this fight in your mind to becoming a reality?
It's hard to gauge how close it is because I think the problem with the Bkfc as well at the minute, there's that much interest. I think Dave's got that much going on with, like, I know he's in talks with the Saudis, he's in talks with Dana White, so he's got a lot going on himself. Of course, it was Valentine's Day last night, so he's probably been up all night bedroom action. So it's another day off the thing, isn't it? So it's hard to gauge how it's going. But me and Mark now both have the same manager, Gabriel, who's, to be honest, he's been a godsend to me.
Yeah,
it's like my only regret me fighting prayers, and I met Gabriel earlier. Like he actually delivers on what he says he's going to do, So Gabriel's got a plan in mind that hopefully he gets it,
Yeah, for sure. And, you kind of talked about it earlier, but, the British and the Irish, they have a long history in bare knuckle. And, it would be remiss of us not to ask that very recently you met probably the one of the most famous Irishmen on the world today, Conor McGregor. And, I was just wondering, what was that experience like? How did you find Conor to be in person? And most importantly, were you able to try a forged Irish stout?
I did try a forged Irish stout. No, I've never drunk stout before, but it was actually not bad.
Okay.
I wouldn't probably recommend having 8 pints and then trying to travel because it leaves a very iron taste in your mouth. So if you're going to try and neck on with a bird after, you're going to have no chance for it. You're going to have bad breath. If you're going to, you want to take a pack of mints or chewing gum or something with you to go with it. But as Conor as a person, he's very grounded. I think he's one of the boys, really. When you watch him, I mean, everybody loves him, It's he walked in the bar. Everybody was wanting a piece of him, and he made time for everyone. He honestly did. He was going around, he was trying to greet everybody, and I think Conor was just one of the boys, He's just made it, His hard work's done it for him,
Yeah, definitely. Mick, one last thing on this fight with you and Mark. Have you had any talks with David Feldman about the fight as of yet, or has it just sort of been something that has been brought upon by the media hype and everything else? Has Dave actually had? I know I've heard him on a few other podcasts where people have mentioned it to him. But have you sort of had a chance to chat with him at all and gauge where he's feeling on the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I've messaged Dave about saying I want more. I mean, this was even before I was with Gabriel. As soon as Mark's name come in the hat, that was it. I wanted Mark. Now, people are saying Rothwell was the next biggest one, but like Mark's already beat Rothwell.
Yeah.
So why do you want to fight Rothwell? You want to fight to be the best. You want to fight the best, and at the minute, Mark's the biggest name, so you want that fight. So when I've texted Dave, Dave's only worry is that Mark hasn't fought in the Bkfc before.
Yeah.
But then you've got Christine Ferreira. She's now going to be fighting Cyborg. Now I know Christine's she's in a predicament where she's beat everybody. There's nobody left, so whoever she fights is going to be new. But I just think a name as big as Mark, you've got to let Mark, let him come in. He's already, I mean, Roy Nelson sort of had his hat in there as well, but like Mark's already knocked out Roy Nelson. So you've got 2 big names, and Rothwell and Nelson both want to join the company, and Mark's already beat the 2 of them. So like, it's a no-brainer. You want to, like Lorenzo Hunt's getting a little bit upset. He's saying he wants to have a fight, but he's never fought at heavyweight yet. So I'm thinking, like, Lorenzo, let me fight Mark Hunt. If I beat Mark Hunt, you get to fight me next. If Mark Hunt beats me, Lorenzo gets a chance of taking the title off Mark Hunt. It's a win-win for him. It's a win-win for me. I get a dream fight. Lorenzo gets the title next. If I get beat, he's got Mark Hunt. If I win, he gets another shot at the title. It's like, I think it's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah. And, it's obviously pretty clear that, you've said, Mark Hunt is the fight that you want. But, I'm curious, let's say everything goes your way, fight gets booked, you take the fight. And, let's say you were to get the victory. Is there other fighters you have in mind on who you would want next? Or are there other fighters that you would just like to fight in your career before, it's all said and done?
It's like I say, it's a funny thing because, like, the sport's still new. So, like, who deserves a chance? Like, everyone's only had 2 or 3 fights, on the beach. I know they've had massive fight history, but in the Bkfc, they've only had 2 or 3 fights, so they're trying to begrudge market. But, like look at Ben Rothwell. Rothwell fought Bobo. He's a journeyman. So he's knocked Bobo out in 5 seconds. It's like, what was the point in that fight? It was like a school bully fighting a kid a few years younger than himself. It was a pointless fight. He had a harder fight on his next one with that Josh Copeland, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Josh Copeland. He's just been beat off Rothwell. I know he's had a win, but like, does Josh Copeland deserve it before Rothwell? Because Rothwell's beat him. And then you've got Rothwell just pulled out with Todd Duffy. So how can he fight for a title when he's just pulled out the fight pretending he was ill? And everyone knew he was overweight. You know, when he pulled out on the Thursday before the fight. He says he had COVID. On the Monday after the fight, he done a podcast. He's lost no weight. He's still 315 pounds. He didn't have a sniffle, didn't have a cough. So he's obviously just been overweight and pulled out. Then you've got Josh Watson. He knocked out that Greg Hardy. Does he deserve a chance? Probably he's good too. It was a good knockout. Then you've got Lorenzo Hunt. Lorenzo's never fought at heavyweight. So should he fight at heavyweight before he gets a title shot? So like the sports that new, like who does deserve a shot? Everyone does.
Yeah, absolutely. Mick, last couple of questions from us, mate. I know BKFC is sort of your focus for now and for the foreseeable future, but I know obviously BKFC being so closely tied to traditional boxing, is that something that ever interests you? Competing in the squared circle in boxing, traditional boxing, and if so, I guess, is there anyone that you see that you would like to have a crack at?
I mean, obviously the BKFC, like people say, what's the difference between BKFC and boxing? When you're sparring, it's just boxing.
Yeah,
you're wearing boxing gloves. You know what I mean? So like, what I tend to do is I go and look for pro boxers to spar with, and I'm lucky where I live. There's a good few pro boxers. So I think at my age right now, when you're 40 and you've got to do 12 3-minute rounds against a 25-year-old young animal, it's like it's hard to keep up. You know what I mean? I'm 40, but I never say no. Like I'm training full time at the minute. I'm lucky I don't have to work now. I'm training full time.
Nice.
So I think I'd definitely get fit enough to do it. But at the time, when you like, I was working full time, got 3 kids, 2 big dogs. I walk 4 times a day. You're trying to train full time, and then like I'm an electrician during the day, so you try to people are always phone you, can you fix me lights? This has went wrong. So you're always running around doing different things, So it was hard to actually fit all the training in. So you had to cut everything off for 8 weeks before you fight. So you lose all your friends. I can't speak. I'm training, but at the minute I've got a little bit more spare time. I still train 6-7 hours a day. So maybe I could probably go into the boxing then. I've maybe got the time to do it.
Yeah. And, last question from me today, man. We really appreciate your time. We don't want to keep you too long, but, all combat sports sort of, in the early days, they, stereotypes developed, for MMA in the early days, it was that, it was human cockfighting and, white trash in the cage, basically. And, for bare knuckle in the early days, the sort of stereotype was, you guys are just drunken brawlers pretty much, which is definitely not the case if you actually sit down and technically watch bare knuckle. But my question for you is, do you think as the sport is sort of going through this rapid growth that the fans are going to become more knowledgeable and that stereotype goes away and that you guys as athletes and bare knuckle fighters will get the respect that you deserve?
I think obviously, once the money comes in, you're going to get the better caliber fighters come with it as well. But I think already the skill's starting up a little, especially from the early days when I used to do it. You might as well just went into a pub. I've got 2 drunk blokes have a fight, but I think the standard's getting a lot better. It's very rare you get 2 brawlers on there. Mind you, I like watching 2 brawlers as well. If you get 2 brawlers on swinging, it's good to watch. But there's seem to be a lot more skill there now. I think the sport's just going to keep growing rapidly. Like I say, once the sport grows, it gets more eyes, more money, better fighters.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mick, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We really appreciate it. I know that Josh and myself are, really angling for that fight with Mark Hunt to go down. We'd love to see that as, fans of combat sports, man. And we'd love to talk to you again in future, hopefully after the Mark Hunt fight happens.
Yep, definitely. Whenever you need us, give us a shout.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, man.